So this fixer diary dates back to 2011 when Elizabeth Taylor had just passed away, and the BBC were making a tribute special on her life and her career. And they called me up one day and said, "Hey Liz, we wondered if you'd be able to go and interview Pierce Brosnan." And I'm like, "Pierce Brosnan? I'd love to interview him. I love a good Celtic actor." Anyway, they said, "Well, the thing is, you'll have to go to Hawaii because he's over there right now with his wife. That's where he lives part of the year." And I was like, "Hold on a minute, let me just check my calendar. I can make that work." So next thing I know, I'm in Hawaii and I'm checking out the hotel and I'm about to interview Pierce Brosnan. So we get to the house, which was not that far from the hotel. In fact, his assistant had suggested where we should stay because it was only like a stone's throw away from his home. So as we got to the location, the door opens and there's Pierce Brosnan. So I was surprised he even answered his own door, but that's the kind of guy he is. And I go to introduce myself and he's immediately enamoured because I'm from Scotland. Because as it turns out, Pierce Brosnan's career started not only in Scotland, but in my hometown of Glasgow, in the King's Theatre. And if you know Glasgow, you know the King's Theatre is a very, very famous place, and it's been the catalyst for many, many people's careers over the years. And Pierce had a really great memory, which he shared with me. He loved the fact that he lived on Sucky Hall Street because Billy Connolly often talks about Sucky Hall Street. Anyway, we do a quick scout of the grounds, and there was a meditation building that Pierce's wife had built there, and I loved it. It was perfect for the interview. So we set up our cameras and we shot the interview there, and Pierce gave the best sound bites, the best anecdotes, talked about how nervous he was as a young actor having to kiss Elizabeth Taylor on camera and how supportive she was, and just, you know, it was like TV gold. You felt like you were hearing a real part of great Hollywood history. So when we finished the interview, Pierce suggested we play some golf because one of the reasons why he has so much grounds in his Hawaii stay is he likes to play golf. So him and David, my cameraman, proceeded to play around, do drivers and putting and whatever you golfers do with your balls. They were doing it. I was taking loads of pictures. And finally we said our goodbyes and off we went. Back to the hotel. We're at the hotel bar and I was actually busy on my BlackBerry because we had BlackBerries back then. And I'm sending notes back to London. And David was busy watching sports, having a beer. And next thing I remember is this voice appearing from out of nowhere that just said, "Is Liz, the Scottish producer, still here? Is that wee Scottish lassie still here?" And I look up and there's fucking Pierce Brosnan walking into the bar. "Oh, I just rode my bicycle up. Let's have a drink." And it turns out that he rode his bicycle from his house to the hotel and then proceeded to just buy us drink after drink after drink. And he told me so many funny stories. We had so much fun and told me about his production company. In fact, he told me how disappointed he was at his performance of James Bond, which I was surprised about. So I was like, "You were great, James Bond." And he's like, "No, I wasn't anywhere. I mean, how could I compare with Sean Connery?" And I'm like, "Come on, Pierce. You're a great James Bond. In fact, you're my second favourite James Bond, after Sean, obviously." Which he kind of liked, and he laughed about that. So eventually, we said our goodbyes again. But before he left, Pierce Brosnan handed me a little note and said, "That's for you." And off he went. And I didn't actually look at it until the next day. I opened it up, kind of like a little fortune cookie. And all it said was, "Less is more," and his email address. And that was it. The rest is history. Maybe you'll tune in again and find out what happened after. Well, I don't know if I can tell you what happened after that. But anyway, that's another Fixer Diary. I hope you're enjoying your lockdown.